Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Two Clicks from KO. As always, I am Aries Ez, and with me is the shake to my rattle and roll, the West Coast OG, Aaron Cantu. How are you doing, Aaron?
I'm doing all right, man. Doing all right. How about you?
Not too bad, not too bad. And with us, special guest. He ain't nothing but a hound dog, and he does love me tender. We are gathered here with the one and only Kennie Peña. Kenny, how are you?
All right, doing pretty well. How are you guys?
Fantastic here on the East Coast.
I'm flying high right now.
This goes a little wet, actually, but yeah.
It rained quite a bit today, and if most of you could not notice, the opening was very much Elvis inspired because we have the official announcement that Worlds will be at Graceland. September 6th through 8th, Memphis, Tennessee. Get your tickets. Get your hotel blocks booked. We're at Graceland, home of the one and only King, Elvis Presley.
Halfway sold out already, so jump on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Big deal.
so we wanted to have Kenny on, and Kenny also, wanted to come on and talk about it. Talk about Worlds, Graceland, things that we can expect. And also just to talk some clicks, man. Have not had this guy on the podcast in well over a year, and he's been sorely missed.
What's up with that? What took so long?
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. That's what it is. That's where we're going.
That's
All
how we're
right.
gonna do this.
Guys,
You've been rolling shape change on us, bruh. You're a busy man, and this is like your busy season, so we're very fortunate to have you on,
Yes,
especially
sir.
right smack dab in the middle of tournament season. So thank you for being with us. First question right off the rip. What was the big decision
Whoa.
to go to Graceland? What drove you there? And what can we expect in Tennessee?
so Graceland is just a new opportunity for us to explore. We obviously did Philadelphia PAX last year in December, and obviously there was a lot of feedback, some positive, some negative about that decision, that choice, that location. And the big thing I think was weather, and there was a lot of different other factors. And, I think it worked out pretty well last year. Of course, there were some things that could have been improved on. There were some things that did go well. And this opportunity for Graceland at a different time period that's a little bit more safer as far as weather was concerned, location, and just having access to it was something that we didn't want to pass up. Give it a shot and see how it went. That was the big reason to it. We finally got it all together. I know the announcement came out a little bit later than desired, but I think the response has been positive. I think people are excited. We're excited. We want everyone else to be excited. Just for 3 days of clicks. Memphis, the location. I mean, this is as centralized as we ever been. I think Indianapolis at Gen Con was pretty close, but we're a little bit closer to the West Coast this time. We're slowly getting there to the middle.
Yeah. So part of the announcements that we see, so all of the major WizKids games will have their World Championships there, including Star Trek Attack Wing, Dice Masters, and of course HeroClix. Some of the things that Graceland offers to people who will be there is they have the Exhibition Center, which has the Muhammad Ali Greatest of All Time, National Geographic Presents Earth Explorers, A Century of the American Motorcycle. And you guys have hotel blocks blocked off for us. You can get the TCB package, which includes the Elvis Experience Tour, which is a pretty nice value. One HeroClix Storm 2019 Con exclusive figure, one DC HeroClix Bombshell Raven exclusive figure, and one HeroClix Convention exclusive figure from earlier than 2019, and one free Battle Royale entry, which will have X-Men the Animated Series, The Dark Phoenix Saga. Wow.
That's nuts. $49 is what that whole package is getting you. I can get it's worth it tenfold. That's an amazing package deal. Very great for WizKids to put that together.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yeah, we put it together. We wanted to make sure that people coming out with the time considerations of the announcement really got the most bang for their buck. And I mean, you guys pretty much sold it for me. There's a lot of bang for this buck right here. I mean, the experience tour by itself is $66. So
But
you're saving $16 off that alone. On top of that, you're getting a fairly new national exclusive Raven con exclusive, a Worlds exclusive.
$60.
Yep.
Another HeroClix exclusive that's a little bit older from 2019. I'm thinking like Whiplash. I know a lot of people like Whiplash from like the 2013. No, I'm kidding. It's going to be something a little bit, but that you're getting 3 con LEs, you're getting a tour, you're getting a free entry to Battle Royale, which if you haven't seen, it's either $15 for standard boosters, $20 for the bigger X-Men animated boosters, and I think we all know that for the $20 entry, you are usually going to get more than $20 value back. So if you compound that, there's actually even more value on top of that. You win that Battle Royale, you might walk away with a second storm. You don't know. Even if you get the second, there's special objects. Who knows what you pull? That set is slated to come out September 11th. There's a week before that. You're actually getting product before it actually comes out. So, I mean, if you really want to just stack all the value together, yeah, you can do however you want, but it's there's so much bang for your buck. Yeah, it's insane to not even consider it or do it. I highly recommend it. And people who, I mean, we still have rooms available. We're halfway there. People should get the rooms, and if they do, definitely get this package. It is worth it.
Go ahead.
The Battle Royales, you're dropping the rings in there still too, right? Uh-oh. We lost them.
We lost?
No, we're good. We got you back.
Oh, we're good. So the Battle Royales dropping rings in still, right?
Yes, we have the special objects that most of them are rings, but we also have the extra specs, Proxima Sphere.
Sure. But so like a bad quote unquote bad ring is $20, $15, Absolutely. So like the entry into the Battle Royale is paid for, and then you get the Raven, which is about $60, on secondary market too. So I mean, even if you don't care about the tour,
right there too. Storm is going to probably be a $60, $80. Basically, what it boils down to, for $49, you're getting potentially, in my opinion, almost $200 to $250 in value. If you don't buy into that, you're out of your mind. Especially with all the stuff that you could be pulling out of these boosters as well. If you're the guy who's placing, or person who's placing 4th, and you end up getting 2 rings on the back end or something like that, you're getting more than your value on top of this. It's a very generous deal.
And then also
that's not released yet, so super rare chases, and sometimes people go a little nuts when it comes to product that's out before its official release date. So
sometimes,
like I said, yeah, sometimes, not all the time, sometimes.
People go nuts for man. You see pre-release prices. If you're getting stuff before you can even get your hands on it on the secondary market, people are going to go nuts for it. Especially with the fact that it's X-Men the animated series. We're seeing primes on top of the Colossals and stuff. This set's going to be absolutely nuts.
The value's there. That is the main thing. If you're questioning it for whatever reason, I don't understand why. Like you guys just pointed out, how much you're just getting for that extra $49. And I mean, if you love the game, whether it's HeroClix, Dice Masters, Attack Wing, it's 3 days of fun. It's 3 days of just events, whether it be the championship side events, scenarios. The event schedule is up, and there's more updates coming. I know there's some things that are not fully fleshed out. There's some things that are not still there, and we're going to keep on updating. We're going to make it as exciting as possible as information comes out.
And look, if you don't want to buy the package, but you are paying for the room, which, by the way, is only $119 a night for up to 4 people. So, I mean, that's $30 a person per night. That's crazy good.
The way it breaks down basically is if you can fit 4 people in there, it's $119 for 4 nights. You're going to pay $119 for 4 nights. You couldn't find a better deal in Memphis. Or probably anywhere that you're going to a big major tournament like this.
Oh, and
anywhere.
And parking's $5. Let's not forget that. That's important.
Yeah.
And
$5 for a normal car, $10 if you're bringing like a bus.
And look, if you don't want to buy the extra $49 package, I'll pay for it. and just give me the stuff.
Which is probably an option too. I mean, it's just worth it. There's just so much value inside of all of the deals that they've posted up. You can check it out on the 2Clicks from KO page. You can check it out on the WizKids.com page. They've posted up all of the deals, all the battle royals and side events and things like that they're going to be having. On top of that, you don't have to buy a badge. This isn't like going to a convention where you're having to buy an $80 badge or anything like that. There's no badge cost, anything like that. It's our own tournament. This is WizKids tournament. You don't have to dig through lines of people who are trying to buy other product from other companies. It's WizKids own. Was that one of your also main driving points to go to something like this in Memphis, Kenny, to have something that you guys can just call your own?
Yeah. I mean, it's two pronged. It's double edged when you really think about it. It's nice when you don't have to consider other companies, other games, things like that, or the convention, the badge. However, there is something to be said about going to conventions, getting and hitting all those other variety of people that know WizKids exists or play the games that we play, but they see it in passing. So, you have to weigh both sides of it. There's pros and cons. For many, many years now, we've been doing it this way with the convention centers. It was time to, I forget when was the last, I think 2015, we did it in Maryland with the Nationals that wasn't part of a convention. And so I think it was time to try it again, test the water, see how that goes. I think it's going to work out well, though. I think there's something to be said about doing it this way, where you're giving up the pros of the convention and vice versa.
Faux show. Is there anything that we missed that you want to point out, Kenny, before we move on?
Now, we got the room blocks, the amazing price there, where it's $119 a night, up to 4 people. We got the TCB package. And I know there's some questions about how people can get that, or they were getting the email confirmations. The only thing I want to say is just you have to be a little patient. The crew over there, they work their own way, and I think they've been sending out confirmation details, maybe a little bit more delayed. But when that confirmation does come in, that's when the option, or they will present an option for you to opt into the TCB package. So I know that's been asked a lot via our Facebook, WizKids Facebook, and other media sources. So I know we included that in the FAQ so people could get an idea or a sense and not feel, oh my God, I'm not getting that option. Just be a little patient. If you book the room, that option, that email confirmation should come to you, and you should be able to do what you got to do to receive it.
Excellent. And just to be clear, so what I'm being told is Team Worlds is Friday. Individual Worlds is Saturday for HeroClix. This is HeroClix podcast. And then the top 8 will be Sunday. Is that correct?
Correct. So we're going to do Team Worlds on Friday. We're going to knock it all out one day. I know in this past year, Nationals, or a few months ago, we did everything up to the top 8, finished it on Sunday morning. I think that was received extremely well. I know that was feedback given from PAX, given how late and how long that tournament ran from players, volunteers, staff. So it worked. Let's do it again. I made sure to make that a little bit more clear this time around. When it came to posting the event schedule, I think I was a little vague about it when it came to nationals. I raised the questions. I didn't want to make that same mistake again. So yeah, you keep on playing. You play the multiple Swiss rounds. Whether how many that may be, play up into the top 8 cut. That's it. Call it a night. Get some sleep. Go get some Memphis barbecue. Get an alcoholic beverage. Get a non-alcoholic beverage. Do what you like. The night's yours. Also, let's not forget, we got side events running till 10 o'clock. That's something that we usually don't do. So if you don't want to get food or don't want to, by the way, please go make sure you don't starve yourself. You can play in a battle royale or two. Tone it down. Take it easy. Kick back, have some fun, get ready for the next day for the top 8, finish it off. And yeah, HeroClix podcast, but any Dice Masters or tackling players there too. Those are going to be run throughout the whole day. There's no top 8 cut for Sunday, but for HeroClix Sunday, we finish the top 8.
I mean, this is going to be great. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I say as a community, we go to Memphis and we kill this place with kindness. Let's go there. Let's show them that we are the fantastic community that we are. Be respectful. Let's want Graceland in Memphis to reach out to WizKids and be like, hey, we want you guys back for years and years to come. Your players are fantastic. The community was fantastic. We would love to have you there. It's ours. Let's make it ours. Let's not have this place look back at it and be like, yeah, so, the shots fired guys puked in the pool, so we don't want you guys coming back around. Yeah, I'm taking shots on my podcast at you guys. Don't puke in the pool. But let's go out there and let's knock it out of the park. Let's cement this one in for years to come.
Let's not do that.
I'm looking at you, Jeff Farrow. I'm looking at you, Jamie Jordan. Hold your liquor.
Derek Thompson.
Yep.
That's a big one there.
Let's stay fully clothed and let's hold our liquor, please. And from what I am seeing too, there's food on site. There's a bar on site. Everything is on site, which is amazing. You're not having to walk city blocks and city blocks if you want to. Knock your socks off, but everything seems like it's pretty well encompassing, all on, I would say, a campus style thing where you don't have to go far for good food. You don't have to go far for beverage services.
Yeah, that was a big part of what everybody liked about October, right? I hear it on podcasts all the time. Oh, you're in the hotel, you just go up, you come down. Like, okay, well, there you go.
Absolutely. You go and you get your con exclusive stuff. You go, you check back into your room, you toss everything in there that you need, you go back, you enjoy your day. Have yourself a good one.
All righty. Well, let's move on. We're gonna get into some other HeroClix discussion. We've got a lot of questions on the Facebook. What we usually do, just kind of read one off, get like a forum style discussion, and we'll move on from there. We got a lot of questions, so we're gonna have to kind of limit ourselves a little bit today, though.
Also, some of these questions Kenny might not be able to actually comment on. Okay, so we understand that you guys want to ask those questions and pull as much information as you can out of him. He may not be at liberty to say some of these things, so we might be able to comment on them, and Kenny might just be like, I have no comment, because he's not going to give up the goods to all of you nerds that want some of that inside information. Looking at you, Scott Crampton.
All right, well, let's jump in. So we've got an X-Men set coming out, but we got one that just released, X-Men Regenesis, and we have actually quite a few questions about it. So Tyler Shaw leads in. What do you think about Double Wolverines, Regenesis theme team, and just Wolverine in general, I think is the question. So, Kenny, have you played Regenesis yet?
I have. I was able to play. I think I got 2 events in, actually. So I had a good time with both of them. Went 2-2 in one of them. Went 4-0 in the other. I was able to take down Wolverine. It was not easy, though. It was very hard. I had the right tools to do it. I had a Rachel Summers and a Kitty Pryde, so that's an autonomous attacker, and so that definitely helps. But not everyone's going to pull that way. So Wolverine, yeah, Double Wolverine. Double Wolverine's not as scary. Because, well, actually, it is kind of scary. No, yeah, Wolverine's pretty scary. Let's put it that way. Wolverine's scary.
Yeah, in Sealed, he's a juggernaut. We haven't done our Regenesis yet. We'll be doing that on the 24th. But from what I am seeing, they may not be, quote-unquote, as competitive as we may see in the gameplay, the main play. But in the Sealed events, Wolverine is wrecking house. In playing 2 of him on a theme team, that might be a little difficult to cut through. It's possible, as Kenny pointed out, if you have the perfect storm of things to play, but yeah, going up against Double Wolverine is a little tough.
Yeah, the 2 actions, 200 points and things like that. It's really hard. It really is, and especially his free heal. So you hope that they pull Wolverine, they can't play a Jean Grey theme team, but with the trading mechanic, which we want to encourage, we want people to have a good time and maximize the figures that they play and play the best versions of them. Unfortunately, that might that's. I don't want to say it's a bad experience, but it's definitely a challenging one. So we've heard and we've noticed, and we're taking all the feedback, and we're it's not falling on deaf ears.
Yeah, so we played our Regenesis, but we did our format a little different. We did 300 points, and we did 6 boosters because we just had enough to do it. So, yeah, I played Magneto with Wolverine, which wasn't. I don't get the four square thing with Magneto, but I still get 2 squares. And I'll just tell you, like, if you pull Magneto and you play carefully, you can take down Wolverine fairly easily because he cannot really get close enough to you to attack. If you're able to take out his support, and then from then, Magneto and Wolverine are about the same amount of points. If you have your own character that you can kind of tuck behind Magneto and just play keep away, then you win. And I won a game like that. It came down to my Magneto and my Wolverine, which is almost dead, versus his Wolverine. And I was like, well, I'm just gonna run. And then the other. What's
Sorry,
that?
did you play on a full size map or did you use the
Full
battle?
size. We did
A
full
full size?
size. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we had 300 points to play, um so yeah, that was also a thing, but I think Magneto can still get pretty far away, on the battle royale map. It is a little bit harder because if you have a taxi, you can just run and drop them in there on Magneto, and at that point, what I did was I just TK'd myself away.
Yeah.
And just just hopefully my team can survive. But I did take down 2 Wolverines at full points, each of them, and one on the free. Oh, 2 on the free healing, not the regular clearing action. So yeah, it's a tough figure though. I can see why people are struggling in Seal, and I had one on my team myself. So I kind of just ran him out there, got some shots in, pulled him back, healed him up. I mean, it was pretty nasty.
Mhm.
Um, let's see here. Any advice for those playing in Regenesis events? Play your flyers. Like if
Got it. Okay, I thought that was him saying the question.
no, I'm saying play your flyers. That's my bit of advice.
Don't be afraid to use the X-Men TA. Certain characters
Yeah.
need to in clicks and whatnot, and literally everyone has the X-Men TA, and I get it. It's 2 actions if you play the suggested format. I mean, stores, organizers can do whatever they want with it, really, but the suggested format is what we think is the probably the more fun way to do it. Anyway, even with the action limits and whatnot, I found myself using X-Men TA a lot just to make sure that I could be on the right click, the click number. So don't be afraid to do that, even if it means 1 less attack for the turn.
No, those guys hit the nail on the head. Absolutely play your flyers and use that underutilized team ability. This is the kind of an event where the X-Men team ability, which may not be utilized as much in quote-unquote competitive play and things like that, is something that may be beneficial and real big in something like a slop kind of play where it'll get you to the right clicks that you need to be back on and things like that. So, yep, you guys hit it on the head. Nothing for me to add then.
All right, let's see. Next question. Well, that's a pretty serious topic. Let's get some of these fun ones out of the way first. Let's see. Brian Poling says, "What is your least favorite format to play? Like the one format that just makes you skip that week at clicks." We should start with Aries.
I mean, for something like that, I don't like playing. I like playing Golden Age or something like that to an extent.
Mhm.
I don't like just the saturation of resources and things like that are just piled on top of things and on top of things. I think it just resources rotated out for a reason. I feel like they should stay there. Now, granted, I get that they may play better with some of the stuff that we see in modern and stuff like that and whatnot like that. But when you're trying to grow a player base, trying to simplify the game, like WizKids has been doing lately and things like that, I don't want to reintroduce back in resources and then have to explain to a player, okay, so you can get a construct from a battery, but then you can also use equipment, and now they're completely confused. So Things that have rotated, keep them in the past. If you're gonna do a Rock Age or a Golden Age, something like that, limited, so you're not using resources, you're not using a whole bunch of sideline stuff. It's more pure, and you can teach players to play better. That's those are the ones that if I see it, I'm like, yeah, I'll pass on that. I'm all set.
Mhm.
Kenny
So
Peña.
I like all the formats. I love playing the game. It doesn't matter what it is. That being said, once you get over 1,000 points, at least my
Yes.
experience, it gets a little difficult to control. And what I mean by control is if you're doing 1,000 points and there's no restrictions, I am going to play something very obnoxious and annoying. And if I'm playing against someone and they're new and they don't have an understanding, and it's like, okay, let's try to break it down. But now I'm trying to break down a character or tactic in 1,000 point game. That's probably the same time length that you have, and now more time is being spent on explanation. And I'm all for helping. If this is like a weekly organized event, people want to play, they don't want to have to do that. I'd rather save those things for like, hey, Travis, me. Like, well, what are you doing Tuesday? Want to meet up? Let's have fun. Let's do like a 1,000 point versus Brotherhood. We have an
Yes.
understanding. We're gonna do things like that. Or hey, let me help you out. I know you like playing the big games. Let me show you what you can do to manage your actions better in a big 1,000 point game. So from my experience, when those events tend to happen in my store, I probably still go, but I tend to have a little less fun because I'll run into that one person, or that other person has one bad freak of luck, and and when you're playing that many actions and you miss all your attacks, and then I hit two or three, things go downhill really fast. Um, yeah, I don't dislike any of them. They're all fun. I think playing Golden Age is good and healthy. For new
Yes.
players, you might want to be choosy when you introduce them to Golden Age elements. But if you enjoy it and you love it and that's what you want to do, power to you. Well, I'm not gonna. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I'm with you on the 1,000 point. I draw the limit at like 900. Like I'm like anything over 900, even really 700. We used to play 700, but then we'd make it where like all of your characters have to be over 100 points, so you don't just have like a million characters on the board. But if you don't want to do that, like yeah, anything over like 700, I'm kind of like But the other thing that I don't really care for too much is when there's a lot of restrictions. It's like let's do 500 points, but then you can only use these keywords, and they have to sit in a chair, and they have to, like all these different crazy restrictions to where it's like to the point where like some people don't have enough figures to play that event, and so
Yeah.
that kind of gets pretty limiting. So I try not when I see formats like that, I kind of like try and like talk to the TO and be like, hey, is there any way we can kind of broaden this up a little bit? Because I know where I live, we have players who they enjoy coming to play, but they don't necessarily have the means to purchase too much product. And so yeah, they can borrow stuff, but you have to kind of know what stuff is in order to borrow it. And some people don't really know what stuff is unless they own it, if that makes sense. So like yeah, I think try not to restrict your formats too much. That's what I would say. Let's see here. Jay Sly has a question. Have you looked at removing the 400-point mercy rule for rounds of play following Swiss? Now, this is
No.
not a rule I'm a fan of. I know Kenny doesn't like it being called the mercy rule. Aries is a fan of this rule. But I accept it. I don't like it, but I accept it.
It's
So,
not mercy. That's the only reason why I don't like it being called mercy. It has nothing to do with mercy.
well, I won't debate you right now. We've had this debate, so I know how this goes.
It's not mercy. Mercy is like, wow, I scored 15 volleyball. If you get to 15 before they can score 1 point, the game ends. You don't have to get to 21. That's mercy. This is not mercy.
I think
No.
Mercy Rule. I think Mercy Rule's damage character, to be honest with you. But that's me personally.
Very good.
If
Anyway.
your team is built around giving up 600 points and then still somehow trying to get the win by clearing out their team, that shouldn't be in the game. That's why it's there. It's there because we have these asinine teams that you can give up double what the damn game structure is, and they can somehow still win. So no, it's built just for that. So we're not punishing guys who have to slog through 1,000-point team in a 300-point setting. That's I'm okay with it.
Don't make characters that can do that.
That's exactly my strategy. I was like, score all the points you want because the rules allow it, but I KO all you guys. I'm gonna win.
Yeah. Kenny likes to play Mistress Death.
Not just that one.
And Loki.
Oh, I love that Loki so much.
Yeah. But to answer the question, I'm gonna think it's safe to say no, that hasn't been a discussion.
No, it's not going anywhere.
We saw the data. We saw how nationals that was at Oregon. We saw the opportunity. I think there was only one, maybe two different games where someone actually was able to win via the alternate win condition. So what does that mean? Does that mean it was unnecessary? I don't think that's true. I think because of the rule in place, players had to adjust their play style and not build teams or play with such liberty, original game elements that introduce all these extra victory points. It places a risk on that because the previous year we were seeing 800 to 620, 741 to 619. It was silly. It's a 300-point game. There should be some sort of it should be close to that. Also, because of changing that rule and the max that you score 300, it made the bye rule that much easier to change. Where if you get a bye because you are literally the odd man out, you came out to this event, you want to play, but you just don't have someone for you to play with because only 93 people showed up. We're giving you a win in 0 points, but when you're scoring 800, 900 points, that pretty much means if you lose, your opportunity to try to catch up is so diminished. Maxing out at 300, setting up an alternate win condition because it's not mercy. Limit at 400 made the buy change at 150 that much easier to do and implement. And I think it's just healthier. I get that people might not like that one particular rule, but I think when you look at everything in the grand scheme, it really is just positive all around.
But I think the 300-point cap stands on its own, and that's something that I've actually been advocating for a long time. Especially since I got knocked out of a WKO, and a guy that I smashed in 2 turns, like literal 2 turns, made top 8, and I didn't because he happened to play the one 300-point Unimind in the field and beat it.
Absolutely.
I was like, ooh, that's so incredibly frustrating. But, it is what it is. That's the past. This is now. Jay, you have your answer. Let's see.
Adapt and overcome.
Jason Labandera says, any meta chases from Regenesis?
There's 4 out that there's only 4. We've seen them all. It's
I like Warbird.
And Warbird. So, I would think Psylocke and Magic stand out to me a little bit more than the other 2. I think Cannibal is really good for the storyline event. Warbird, she's not bad, but in comparison to the other 4, she might be ranked below it. But
she's tough to keep alive is the thing. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like Psylocke obviously can come off an ID card, so that in and of itself is great. And then Magic is just a pretty good figure. I think in the event itself, Warbird is pretty good. Having that traded flurry with the penetrating damage is pretty good. And then you can always roll blades too on a lot of her clicks. So
you said it right there. Psylocke is probably my lead candidate just because of what she can do coming off of an ID card. I would say more of the main set. Some of the commons and stuff are, I would say, even more meta or competitive than the chases. Beast coming off of an ID card at 40 points is great. So Mr. Oz or someone like that can call in. Obviously, Shadowcats being able to get them in and get an autonomous pog right off there too. I mean, a lot of options in the set. So
and give phasing, right?
Yeah, her
so,
inspiration.
yes.
Decent phasing, and then the other one from the Wanted. I want to say it's exploit weakness.
I think so. Yeah.
Good stuff. Let's see here. Scott Crampton says he has 2 questions. The first one: if the 3 of you had a kiss off, who would win?
Okay.
I think the winner is whoever kisses me.
It's debatable. It's debatable.
And then he has another question that he says: explain how WWE clicks will work.
In time. That's the question. In time.
Yeah. It will be coming out. I want to say October.
Didn't you guys kind of go over this at the Players Appreciation or thing at Nationals?
I do believe in the fan creation night. Some details were they did go over some details. I don't think they went over everything. I was still wrapping up the tournament scene, so I did miss a good chunk of it. I know a lot of it was posted on Realms, Facebook, and shared and things like that. So there is information here. For as far as WWE HeroClix is concerned, I hope you guys enjoyed the previews that were shown yesterday.
Viva la raza!
Lie, cheat, steal. That's how you gotta get them dubs.
It's my guy right there, Eddie Guerrero.
Breaking down that information, going a little bit further, I just asked to be a little bit more patient. That information will be made available very soon. As far as what the new standard powers do, some of the new cool WWE abilities, and just other things going on. So, Scott, I can't answer that question right now. Sorry.
So
pre-order your starter. Pre-order your starter. It's got the pack and the rules right in there. There you go.
So yeah, just while I have you on, because this is something that I've been told and I've kind of assumed, but basically your store can pick and choose which figures it orders, right? Like
all of the characters have their own SKU numbers.
Yeah,
they're going to be just like you said, where if for whatever reason your store owner wants to buy nothing but Rocks and Stone Cold Steve Austin and AJ Styles and
Ronda Rousey's.
I mean, he has the power to do that. I obviously wouldn't recommend that, but I do think it's. I think all the wrestlers have their own unique, different abilities. Of course, some do stand out a little bit more than others. At least my preference and the way I like to play. But there's something there for everyone, and that information, more dials will be coming. More information about how those powers are coming, and everything's going to come together, and hopefully, all the fans and all the players are excited about it as we were in the process of making it all.
All right, but the big question is, the $1 million question is, I have inside information from somebody at WizKids. Can you confirm or deny that we are getting a Shockmaster Connelly?
Shockmaster LA. I'm aware what you're talking about. Shockmaster. That's a very funny video. If you YouTube Shockmaster WWF, it's hilarious. I guess we'll just have to wait if he made the roster. There's can't confirm or deny.
It's a hard no. We're never gonna see a Shockmaster.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You don't know who Shockmaster is?
No.
Literally,
I'll watch it later.
The guy made a 30-second intro into the WW. Actually, in WCW, he fell through a sheetrock wall and his helmet fell off, and he was never seen again.
It's very funny to watch. It's actually worth a YouTube search.
Absolutely. We're never seeing Shockmaster. It's just a joke. So don't get your panties in a bunch, everyone out there. You're not going to see a Shockmaster.
All right. Let's see. Let's get a good question, a more serious one. Ed AB says, should Rock Map winnables be treated like WizKids LEs since they're limited distribution and therefore not be legal until the 7th of the month following their release? I think that's a great question.
That's a damn good question.
It's one that I had not considered. I would say at least a week later.
It's a great question, and it's something worth considering and discussing. I know Rock, the WizKids sponsoring Rock, is still fresh, is still new, even though it feels like it's been forever now. At least to me, it feels like it's been forever. It's not even a year old. So obviously, we try to come up with regulations, rules, ideas that made the most sense. But sometimes some things we hit right off the park. Some things obviously can use a little improvement. I know with the influx of maps and they are available. How widely available? That's something that needs to be looked at and just reviewed. So it's a great question, and it's something that probably is going to Howard, myself, and a few others probably pay more attention to and see what we can do with the right answer.
I think a long time ago, Aries and we had talked about maps when I was having a fit about the was it the cargo plane or whatever about it.
You have
Yeah, can you believe that? One of the things that we talked about was like it would be really cool if you have the winnable, the neoprene maps, and then I'm clicking on stuff. You had the winnable maps, and then at the beginning of the next year, you had like a bundle where you could buy the 4 winnables on paper.
Mm-hmm.
Like something like that would be really cool. Be affordable for other people. You're not in at the original point of entry, maybe, but for the guys like myself, where it cost around almost $20, shipping to get 2 maps. When I buy them, neoprene from the whatever company, I forget what it is, gamermats.com. It saves me a little bit of money. You can just throw it in an envelope and get it to me. So that if I had to make a suggestion while I have your ear, that'd be mine.
No, I know we've discussed about that before, off camera and whatnot, and
yeah,
it's not a bad idea. There's things that have to be considered, of course, to make something like that happen, but in principle, it is a good thought.
Yep. As far as Ed's actual question, though, I think that's a good idea.
I like it.
Like, personally, I think it's good. Especially with maps, kind of like the one that just came out, the new I don't know what it's called, the new indoor map. That thing can be incredibly impressive. Rock's indoor maps drive me crazy. I don't know, they're pretty impressive, but something like that. I think I'm having to win a map this Sunday that I'm running, and so whoever wins that map can turn around the next week and play it here locally, and just kind of like, troll people if you really wanted to, who may not expect to see something like that. So, I think it's a good point.
I think it's a good idea. Something that can be probably looked at.
Let's see here. We have a question about etiquette in HeroClix. This is one we kind of got into a little bit last episode. We talked about something that happened with Micah that was brought up on another podcast page at Nationals as an example. We're not going to rehash that. If you guys want to get into that, you can go last episode and read that. But we have Ernie who says, you guys talked a little on player etiquette with something going down with, he says Jay, but we talked about Micah. So
yeah, it was nothing to do with Jay Solomon.
He says, I really wanted you guys to make that big part of a discussion. I've seen a few players ruin a vibe before, or people call ahead to see if someone is there, and if they are, they won't come. Some even see a car in the parking lot and leave. How can we work around this, and what could you guys list as best practices? Now, I've not heard of a lot of that. That sounds pretty extreme. But
and very specific, too.
Yeah, but I have a really awesome play group. Like, the stuff that I hear about is like I heard a rumor that a WKO was happening, and somebody on some Facebook page posted that the time had changed to the next week, and so players didn't travel to go, and it was done out of maliciousness. I don't know if there's any truth to that. I've heard a lot of different crazy stuff like that, but nothing where it's like, we're playing our monthly OP, and I call the store and say, "Is Travis there?" And they're like, "Yeah." All right, F Travis. You know?
About right. Sounds about good. About
Like
right.
I've never heard of anything like that, so I don't really know where to begin with that, other than um, maybe sit the two players down and try and see what the beef is, and what the expectations are, and kind of come up with a you know I guess a rule, like specific to those players, like, hey, if this is how you're gonna act, you can't play. Hey, you gotta give him a chance to do this, so there's not the conflict. I don't know. I've not had to deal with that.
It's a very
So
broad question, though. You're not giving us very specific situations of they're just killing a vibe. What are they doing to kill the vibe? Are they rules policing? Are they just source sports? Like there is a wide spectrum of what could be there to kill a vibe. And some of the times, most of the times, they probably might be doing something that they don't even know that they're doing. So if you're not addressing it or bringing it to their attention or even trying to open a dialogue and have a conversation with them, you're part of the problem too.
I've
Like, because
been
they could be doing something and they don't even know.
I've been asked to not come to events because I win them. Like in the past, like, hey, you always win. Players don't want to come if you're here. I'm like, all right, like then at that point it's like, okay, well, I'm just not welcome. That's cool. I don't have to play here. If it's something like that, like that's kind of, I don't know, childish. But there some venues are more casual, quotes casual, and they don't want competitive type stuff there, and so like you kind of have to have like the degree of temperature in the room. You know what I mean? You have to know. What are your thoughts, Kenny? You ever have to deal with anything like that?
I mean, uh, it's important. I think Travis hit it really well. It's important to just open the dialogue, and if there is an issue or there's something you don't like, where you just have a conversation and say, "Hey, man, I don't understand what you're doing, or I don't appreciate what you're doing," and then maybe you're misinterpreting something, or maybe you read the situation wrong, and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, I didn't see it that way. My bad." But the first thing to most of the first step to most issues when it comes to any store or players is just dialogue. And a lot of times it doesn't happen, where I rather talk to someone else who's not directly involved and be like, "Man, I can't stand this place. This keeps on happening." Guess what? That guy's not going to do a damn thing about it. So you got to be direct. You have to talk to either the tournament organizer, the store owner, whoever's in charge. But I would really strongly urge having a civil, nice conversation with the person in conflict, if it is a person in conflict. If it's a format, if it's a vibe, perhaps all these players just like playing the same 300-point modern teams every single week over and over and over and over again. They're not really doing anything wrong, but if you feel a certain way and you want to try to spice things up and promote diversity and variety, where, hey, maybe one week we do something different, or we say we have to play a different team, or 400 silver age, I don't know. But most of these problems usually, the first step to correction usually is open dialogue, having that open conversation, just
Yep.
trying to figure out where the middle ground is. Now, if they respond negatively or they get confrontational or defensive, that escalates beyond the game of HeroClix, beyond that's just certain people being a certain way or wanting to have problems beyond the game. And
Yeah.
I can sit here and be a therapist and give life advice as much as I want. At that point, you kind of have to gauge the situation on, is it worth getting into it with this person over the game I like to play? Is it really does it mean that much to him? And then there's other avenues you have to take, but you always try to do it civilly first. You always try to do it in a way that's not antagonizing anyone, that doesn't incite it, where you try to de-escalate the situation, try to find a common solution. And I think that solves things, and that leads to more corrections and problems more often than not.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. Another serious question. Oh, this one's kind of crazy. So from Steve DiCarlo
Don't
says,
say it's the Carlo.
yeah, what do you do if your WKO judge rules everything wrong and refuses to budge after you show him sections of the rulebook that prove without question that he's wrong? suffer in silence, or keep trying to make him see the light? Is there any checks and balances system to hold judges accountable? And if not, should there be? That's a great question. I'm gonna let you start with that one, Kenny.
That was one of the few ones I like skimmed through earlier. I was like at work and I just opened Facebook and I saw that question. I was like, oh, that's a doozy.
That's a difficult one. Like
that's why we're starting with you.
So it's important to note that when it comes to these events, whether it be WKOs and things like that, that most of the time, if not all the time, judges, staff or whatever are mostly volunteers. So, they are chosen by either the tournament organizer or the store owner. So please keep that in mind where if, those situations, if needed to be handled a certain way, would be directed to either the person in charge, store owner, tournament organizer. Now, digging into your question, whether, they keep on getting rulings wrong, you are literally showing them undeniable proof that they are wrong and in the rule book and evidence, and they still don't want to change their ways. That is extremely frustrating, and I'm sorry that has to happen. You need to keep on showing them the light. And if they don't see it, or they don't want to see it, or they just want to believe it, or they have some ill intent because they rather rule it a certain way and they have some hidden agenda, you have to take it to the next level where you talk to either the tournament organizer or the store owner and just be like, okay, this person, he's trying his best. I understand he's volunteering his time, but he is doing things wrong and we want to correct it. What can we do? Once again, kind of like the answer to the other question, we don't try to make the situation worse. We try to calmly approach it, open dialogue, see what we can do. If it gets that bad and you're confident with your rulings and you're confident with your knowledge, that's something that maybe you want to share time. You want to say, hey, let me take a crack at volunteering, let me take a crack at judging, making sure that this event, the next time it comes around, is operated correctly. So that way, let's say there's 20 people at that event, they can all enjoy it now, knowing that the rules are going to be accurate or as accurate as possible. No judge is perfect. I make mistakes. I know the head judge, Chris Martinez, he gets a lot of things right. There's a few things he gets wrong too. We're all human. So those are different ways to approach it. Those are different ideas to try to correct it. Or if an extreme step like stepping in yourself and wanting to make sure others don't have to suffer as you put it, that's the way to go.
Yeah, I inside of that conversation on the page, I think he even went into more detail and said that he did pull the judge aside and have a conversation with the judge very discreetly to let them know, hey, I don't, basically not wanting to embarrass him on the decisions that he was making, but showing him in the rule book, hey, this is where you're wrong. This is where it's in the rules. And from what I understand is that the judge the judge called him an asshole, and then decided to go around to the other players and tell everyone how much of a POS he is.
Yeah.
If that's the case and that's what the judge did, it's time to go to the next level. You tried to play civil. You tried to be okay with it. You tried to discreetly explain this person where the rule was and where they were misinterpreting it. And if that was what their response was, it's time to cut their legs out at the knees. You go to the store and say, hey, listen, this is what happened. This is how they handled it, which was very unprofessional. And as a TO, you're representing the store. Mm-hmm. So if that's how you're going to carry yourself, that's how you're going to lose player base, especially somebody who is as big and as vocal as Steve DiCarlo. He is a California staple. And if he's going there, that Tony Rodriguez is probably coming with them. He's probably bringing buddies. They're probably going there. They're probably spending money and having a good time. And if it's not a good time,
he's very soft-spoken. He knows his stuff. He's not going to cause problems. From the few times I met him, he's not that kind of person. He's not there to cause problems.
No, he's there to try and help.
That's why he brings Tony.
Exactly. He's there to help, and he's there to try and enrich the community with information. Yeah. So pulling aside a guy and being discreet and being like, hey, man, I just want to show you, this is this and that. And for the person that react the way my opinion. It's time to go to the next level and bring the store owner or whatever it is, and maybe even sit down and have a conversation and be like, hey man, with the store owner, the judge, and you, hey, there's no animosity. I'm just trying to help you understand certain things that you're doing, because from what I understand too is that the rulings directly affected some of these WizKids Opens and matches as well. So that would be um my suggestion is it's time to go to the next level and step the next level to for better for the venue and for the player base.
Yeah, and so for my experience, because I've played in and judged WKOs and other events as well. Um, it's tough. So like I traveled to a venue, and the TO and judge was kind of being a not a very nice person, and like to the point where he was saying, well, if someone has a problem with it, tell them come see me. And to me, where I live and where that store is, I know what that means. That means they can fight me, like literal fight me. And it's like, okay, that's not a great attitude to have. I talked to a guy who I know who is a good person there. The store owner, I don't think was wholly aware of the way the judge was acting, and but for my choice, I had two negative experiences in a row at the store at WKOs, so I just don't go anymore. Now I understand that they got more feedback and they've worked on things and they have now different judges and stuff. So now I'll give it another try. So for me, you kind of have to make the adult decision. Like if I'm gonna be that miserable while I'm there, or it's gonna be that bad, do I want to waste my time and money? Now, from a judge standpoint, for me, before all of my events, I give an announcement and, I go over the way I rule things, the way the tournament will work. And one of the things that I always make sure is your opponent is not a judge. Don't ask them rules questions. If you call me over and I make a ruling and you can show me in the rule book quickly how I'm wrong, then I'll listen to you. If you can't, my ruling is final, whether it's wrong or right. But if you show me later on where I'm wrong, I'll get it right next time. But
Yeah.
I'll be consistent for the event. So this last WKO, Pastor Brian from the Eagle Cast called me over.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, had a question. I answered. I made a ruling. He didn't agree with it. I said, "Can you show me?" He couldn't find the rule book. We moved on. He got home. He messaged me a few days later. Here it is. I apologize. Hey, sorry about that. I'll get it right next time. You got to be willing to accept feedback. Like as an adult, just generally in life,
Absolutely.
you have to be able to accept feedback. But if you're going to be a judge, you also have to be able to accept feedback. And eat it when you're wrong. And he's like, hey, it didn't affect our match. It doesn't matter. I'm like, no, but I need to know. So that's
And
it's a lot of this is be an adult. Like we're adults. Don't be children. Be adults.
Yes.
don't be a victim of pride either. It doesn't matter if you've been playing since 2002. The rules have changed so much. There's so many different things. Like it's okay. Like no one's perfect. We make mistakes and we're always trying to learn. I mean, sometimes I'm corrected by a 14-year-old in Isaac. I mean, it happens.
Everyone's been corrected by Isaac at one point.
That's the exception, not the rule.
He said something back, and I'm like, hey, look at that. You're right. Sure, it goes the other way too, where he says something and I correct him, but doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he's 9, doesn't matter if he's 6, if he's been playing for 10 years, 2 years, and I've only been playing for 1 year. Opportunity to learn is opportunity to learn. We just have to be open-minded about it.
Absolutely. Big picture is you have to be open. I have to believe that people in the community, we're trying to make the community better. So you have to be open to take criticism. You have to be open to have a dialogue. I mean, like you said this earlier, Chris, he made a ruling at Worlds. Wasn't the correct ruling. He went on the mic publicly in front of 200 people and said, hey, this is what I ruled earlier. It was wrong. I apologize. We're going to finish with the ruling in place because I've already made the rule. I'll get it right next time. I applauded him for it. He was man enough to go out there in front of all of them on the biggest scale of them all and apologize. And hey, I made the wrong decision, but I'm going to stick with it. So good for him. That's all. And a lot of times in hero clicks, that's all players want. They just want to be acknowledged and be like, yep, we made a mistake, or yep, we did this or that. We're going to do better. Yeah. Keep it moving. Keep the ball moving. Keep the game moving.
Let's keep the podcast moving.
That's where I'm. That's a good segue. That's what I was gonna say.
David Colon, Mr. Clixo says, with all the hype and demand of Kobik, will we see something else emerge as top dog? So if you haven't by now, you can take a look at winning lists. You can find them in various places, like the majesticccg.com website. I believe Clicksoft Podcast gathers them also, and I'm sure there's other people.
Information's everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere. A lot of Kobik. A lot of Kobik. But Aries, what did you say earlier about Kobik?
I said it. I'll say it before. Kobik is beatable. Trader is what makes the Kobik cycle work. The being able to ping pong the Q back and forth, being able to lock down that one-man army. Trader is what really highlights and really makes Kobik shine. Kobik by herself, sure, great hero click, very solid hero click, but Trader is really what makes that figure shine and can really combo out. So, in my opinion, yeah, if people start learning by what they're seeing and they take out the Trader early, or they knock, because the Trader's ability is only a special ability. 2 hits, you get him off of that ability, you're good to go. So get up in his face. But I think Kobik is like, people are like, oh, it's broken, this, that. Kobik is good, it's real good, but it's beatable. And there's stuff out there that if you play it correctly and you build the right teams, it's gonna give Kobik some trouble.
Poison. I mean, right? Because if she's using the free action to token you down, she's staying next to you usually, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Kenny, what are your thoughts? Is there?
I'm curious how Kobik is going to hold against some WWE characters. Let's just put it that way. So
they are ground and pound in your face. I mean, Eddie Guerrero doing a flurry for 3 attacks. Good luck.
But I agree with it. I agree with you, Travis. Trader is the one that really makes it go. Because I think you see astronomer builds. I think Trader build, astronomer, collector. Gardner, which is my personal favorite. I love
Gardner. He's amazing.
Gardner. I'm glad people are finally picking up on it. Because the one thing she doesn't like is getting attacked. And while she could lock down one character, if you're still with free attacks, regardless of how many tokens you are, guess what? Yeah, she has shape change super senses, but she still is going to have to roll them, and eventually she will miss. Once she gets
high defense too.
Once she gets off clicks 1, 2, and 3. That 18 ESC with prob only, I mean, it's not bad, but that's not what you want to see.
No. Shout out Brian Galley, double Gardner at Nationals.
Yeah, that was baller. I played Gardner actually the night before Nationals locally, and it was disgusting. I love that piece. I have like 4 now.
Besides that, it's also Medusa. It's also Foot Elite Boomerangs. He had a really tough time. I know he didn't play a Kobik per se when he ended up losing, but I'm sure he did. But I would imagine his philosophy was, I'm going to get my attacks in. I'm going to make sure that, okay, if you want, you're going to have to hit those shape changes, those super senses multiple times. If you do, congrats, fine, you got it. But I like my odds. He got the top 4, so apparently it worked up to a point. But winning any tournament is always a tough thing. So free attacks, opposing Kobiks with outwit, taking away power costs to get outwitting powers, that makes life easier. Poison and swarms, because she can only do it against one character. She can only give that 1 token to the one character. Trader changes it off, gives it a second one. But if you're playing 5, 6, 7 different characters, you can only stop so much.
The new Wolverine actually matches up well versus her in the same point range. Very long dial, heals himself. Even if you're not playing on the Jean Grey school, if Kobik's giving him tokens, what happens when he clears? He heals, right? and he's X-Men keywords. So now your Cyclops call-ins, your Wolverine call-ins, they get that free attack, and so like I think it's a really cool. I think that would be a really cool theme team as the X-Men with the Wolverine at the centerpiece being an ID battery, but then also with other smaller figures that can call in IDs. That'd be nice.
I mean, yeah. Avengers, you get the Medusas, you get the title Captain America that has the free attacks and stuff like that. I mean, there is we've said it pre-rotation, now we're saying it post-rotation. The competitiveness in the meta is as wide open as it has ever been. Yes, Copic is the hot new thing right now, but competitive play, there are endless things that you can play right now, and anything has an opportunity to win if you pilot it correctly. It's a very good time to be in clicks.
And, Kobik's doing well in WKOs and whatnot, but let's not forget, it did lose to Vulture and Hawkeye. I understand Hawkeye is retired now, but it lost it that could make multiple attacks. With either Vulture or Hawkeye. So it's not beatable. Yeah, you look at it on paper, 19 defense, shape change, super sense. Oh my God, how am I going to get through that? Guess what? You can. Yeah, it's a little bit harder. But she has 115 points, and she's worth her 115 points because you're usually playing the trait. And that you just have to pound it, and you just have to deal with. It's not unbeatable. Yeah, maybe it changes the way you have to play certain teams here or there, but guess what? Another set's going to come out, and another set's going to come out, and there's always going to be something new that influxes the meta and makes it varied and just as diverse as it was, and it still is, in my opinion. But it's a month old since Black Panther Illuminati. It's a new hotness, just like Vulture was a new hotness. It's going to settle down eventually.
Yeah. The sky is falling. The sky is falling. Everyone always wants to say the sky is falling. It's not. Let it settle in.
All right. Let's see here. We have Chris Rizzle, who gives us a team, and he wants to know, is it meta? Is Venom Black Panther, Captain Venom, Venom Spider-Man, Raven from Rebirth, the Batman Who Laughs, Venom Harness, Power Gem, and the Cosmic Cube. That's I don't know, seems fine to me.
I don't know. Unless we're deep diving into your team choice, I have no idea. If you're asking if Monsters is still a thing, yes, Monsters is still very much a thing. It may not be exactly the team that you're playing. Play test it. Play around with it. See what works. See what doesn't work. But Monsters still very much a big thing.
Yeah. Just on the surface right there, I think Venom Black Panther for 100 points on that team. I'm not exactly sure what he brings to the table.
He's 75 points on this team.
Let me say 75 points. You have Captain Venom who brings the leadership. Venom Black Panther wants to be a melee. Raven is your transporter. Venom Spider-Man has a lot of cool tricks. I work with Call him the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why he's doing the Black Panther, to get an extra chance to be able to call him. I think you're just good with the Venom and the Spider-Man. I know a little trick that one of my friends likes to do is to put the Christmas present onto Captain Venom, get him transported, use the ink cap the character for free. Actually, Spider-Man comes in on a big black hole. So that's a cool little trick. It can compete. There's always ways to tweak it and try to maximize all the points you can.
Shut up, Robert Gal. Team to a lot of dubs. So monsters still a thing, man. Monsters are still a thing. And there's plenty of monsters out there to play around with. Dawnbreaker on a team wouldn't be bad. You can suck in some pogs. Monsters, again, we just said, the meta's wide open. Monsters still very prevalent.
Jose de Leon just says, how are you? But we started the show with that. So we good. Christian Bogans, the last question from the Facebook page I have, says, with the cons from Nationals being legal now, which pieces are you excited to use in builds for events? Raven. I like Raven. Magneto on the ID card, very good.
I like Magneto. That was my World's pick back in 2013. Came in third place. just fell a little short. So finally getting to see it made in 2019. Yeah, it took 6 years, but happy to see it finally realized.
Nice.
Yo, and we've already seen on some of the build sheets that are being passed around, dupe. Dupe is already being used out there on X-Men Swarm teams. So a lot of things already being utilized now. So I would say dupe. Lobo looks like he's fun. I'm not sure if he's going to make a huge splash in competitive, but Lobo, I mean, if I have to think about it, and I applaud WizKids right now, and I'm not just saying that because Kenny's standing or sitting here right, in front of us on the old thing. The con exclusives this year are pretty baller. They're all figures that people wanted. The sculpts look pretty amazing. There's no real like, ugh, that sculpt looks stupid. There's a lot of great con exclusives that are coming out here, and they may not be super competitive or super meta or whatever you want to call them, but they're all figures that people have wanted at some point in time, and they spared no expense at making them look great. So hats off to them. Batman the Animated Series, Batmobile. I can't wait to get my hands on him and play that.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, I get my picks. I think anything's playable. If you listen to this podcast for any amount of time, you'll know my belief is that nothing is unplayable. Everything has its place. Everything has its time. It's just up to players to choose the event and the team to utilize it. When I remember GCPD cruisers were not being played, and then Jake Williams won the Golden Age Worlds with them. I remember, what
Con exclusive.
Con exclusive what? Dupe? Yeah.
Yeah, that was
So,
played.
I know a guy that won 2 national championships with that. Let's see. What's the guy's name? Metallo. Kenji won Canadian Nationals with Metallo.
Kenji did not have to sidestep 3 squares either to win that.
No.
I didn't either, but I did.
So yeah, I mean, there's always that something. It's just about you finding something that works for you. I can't play temples. I try. I can't play one-man armies. That's not my style. I'm a swarm / gimmick player. That's me. Whatever. But that doesn't mean those figures aren't good.
No.
So
I got 2 questions on my end, short and sweet. We'll go ahead and we'll knock them out. We touched on one kind of early in some podcasts. Marcus Zilla from Critical Hits Customs. Thank you for always giving us good feedback and always being on the pages. He asked, what gem was your favorite from the ABPI set? And are there any other characters besides the one that can start equipped with them that you would love to equip a gem to and really wreck house with it, basically? So we've already we've already talked about what our favorite gems were at one point in time.
I don't think so.
I thought we had. That might have been on the round table. We talked about gems. We haven't talked about it here.
Gotta get your shows straighten out, man.
Too many shows.
We're
Aries is the Deuce Bigelow of HeroClix podcast.
Yo, both of you guys were on there as well. So I don't want to hear anything. Both of you were a part of the round table as well. All right?
I haven't been on Shots Fired or the Eagle Cast.
I haven't been on Eagle Cast.
Anyway, answer the question.
For favorite gem, what do you think, Aaron? What's your favorite gem? And who would you like to play it on a character that doesn't come pre-equipped?
I like Reality, actually, quite a bit. You have the TK, you have Perplex, and then you get the free object and TK attack if you roll 10. It's pretty nice. Who would I play it on? Anyone. Literally anyone could use it. I don't know.
I like Space Gem. Space Gem makes the most sense to me. It makes anyone pretty much taxi. Phasing teleport, that's always a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the secondary effect is the coolest of the 6, where if I roll that 10 or higher, I'm pretty much saying bye, get out of here, or come near me if it's a range attack. Don't get me wrong, all the other secondary effects are very useful with the other gems, but for some reason, I guess flavor-wise, thematic-wise, Space Gem, I don't know, that one speaks out to me a little bit more. That one just stands out. with the cool factor a bit more. And I've only got to do it once, and I don't know. I enjoyed that one time more versus because Time Gem. For some reason, I always roll 10s when I play Time Gem, so you can't prod me. Great, you can't prod me, but it's just like, okay, you can't prod me, whatever. Space Jam being like, hey, you go over there now. Get away from me. I don't want to deal with you. That's just awesome.
That's like the same thing with the Chase Captain America and his knockback. You know, it's like I want to play that figure so badly and just knock someone back, like from my starting area to theirs. I swear to you, it's just hilarious. It looks like so much fun. I'm playing with the bulldozer.
Yeah, I like Time Gem. I like being able to throw some prob on somebody just to be able to have it. I would and if I had to, I mean, there's a couple different candidates that I would probably throw them on. I mean, just if you don't want to, not that you shouldn't, but if you're not playing Unseen and you're not playing Mr. Oz, and if you want that probability control on a support character, say you're playing Mystical, I like the Time Gem.
A lot of prob on Mystical teams already, though. A lot of prob.
Yeah, if you play, I wouldn't say
you can never have too much prob, right? Like
absolutely not. If you, I mean,
Astu, like what was it, 2010? It was just a Mystical theme team off, and that's old rules where you had probability control and you could still theme prob. So like it was just 9 probs every round until finally the attack either landed. So you could never have enough.
I love that team. Scarlet Witch, Etrigan, double Scarlet Witch, double Etrigan, and the Black Adam Shazam duo. Amazing.
Yeah. Oh, that was bad. What was that? Brave and the Bold?
Yeah, and the telephone booth made it all go.
11 years. That's when I started just playing.
Last but not least, Randy Patton, thank you for tuning in and asking the question. One, what is the piece that rotates that you will miss playing the most? And what IDs do you think will be coming next besides the X-Men and the Gotham villains that we have already seen? I don't think... I mean, Kenny can probably go ahead and speculate. He can say what piece he misses. I don't think he can talk too much on ID cards or anything.
Nope. I mean, wait and see. We got plenty of sets coming up for next year. I know some of them are announced. We'll just have to wait and see what's actually in those sets. So, piece I miss that just recently retired. I might have to think about that one. If someone has their answer first, they should probably go. I'm gonna ponder on that a little bit.
Aaron, you got yours up because I already have a couple.
Doc Ock Ellie. I love that piece.
Ooh.
I've played him a ton. I've won events with him. I've won like ROC events with him. That piece is a lot of fun. As far as like ID cards, I don't think they would do this, but like WWE ones actually kind of make sense. Like, you know, coming from out of nowhere, you know, John Cena from out of nowhere, he just comes in and does something. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Like a backstage run-in.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
backstage run-in WWE, that'd be pretty fun. I don't think that'll happen.
Badge.
Yeah, I don't know if that would happen, but that'd be pretty fun.
It would be fun, definitely. I miss Jakeem Thunder. Jakeem. Just for the fact that we finally now have a gauntlet to put on him to give him Power Cosmic and bring him back to his glory, and he goes. So I think Dustin Cedars ran him at Nationals. I was happy to see that. He gave it one last hurrah and brought him out. And I think he actually did pretty well with it, too. ID cards, and this is just my opinion. If we don't see anything come from DC, I think what is the next one? It's like Justice League Unlimited, I think is the big thing. If we don't see an Arkham Asylum subset to it, I don't think we're going to see ID cards going forward. I think that after this rotation of X-Men ID cards, and I think after this rotation of the Arkham Asylum ID cards that we see, I think that WizKids will probably go in a different path. That's just my opinion. You see it in trends where they try something out, it works, they use it for a little bit, and then they continue moving on, keep on keeping on. You know what I mean? So, I don't think we will see ID cards utilized as much in sets as we had. The equipment's still coming, and I think that maybe they might slide into that way of continuing because there's still a lot of equipment out there that they could use that is in the DC and Marvel lore that we haven't seen yet that could be fun. So that's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, the only thing about that, I don't know, Aries, is so Blackbird came out last year, right? And cons typically have a 2 or 3 year, 3 year, right? 3 year life in Modern. So that would force an early retirement of that. So I know
it'll still be there. I just don't think they're going to continually put out more ID cards.
Oh, I see.
Sets.
Well, you said when they retire, so they're not all retiring at the same time. Is the thing. So, but yeah, I get what you're saying now. Yeah, I mean, I think there's other things that bring characters in off the board. You have trouble alerts. You have like Kobik's other trait that nobody uses for some reason. You have like shifting focus characters. So I think there's other ways to utilize the sideline that are really fun and thematically wise make sense and game wise they impact the game in a positive way. So there's a lot of stuff you can do.
Let me answer the first part of that question. I miss Penguin. I like Penguin a lot with the Robo.
Super rare or fast forces?
Both. But I'm specifically talking about the super rare. But yeah, the fast forces led to some shenanigans. I get it, but I really did like the super rare Penguin. The fast forces Penguins also gave title characters a little bit of boost. I think they kind of needed it. I don't think they're terrible, but they were just missing that little je ne sais quoi, and I think that title Penguin was that missing piece. That being said, another piece that I'm going to miss because it's a team idea I never really got to like fully play out is a shifting focus Punisher. So when Earth X Spider-Man, Dad Bod Spider-Man, whatever you want to call him, came out, he pretty much he moves characters and he can pretty much save you and then place you, right? Or the way it was worded is like that character gets placed and shift but they can't take an action. So well, we all know shifting focus rules that they check for 3 things. They check if they took a non-costed action, if they took a move action, things like that. If they got carried when they shift focus, that they can't take a costed action other than that. So that Spider-Man doesn't do any of those 3 things. So the idea was to play that Spider-Man, start with the shifting focus Punisher that has the knife in his hand, move him up, switch to the grenade launcher. All of a sudden, that Punisher could act range 4 damage, 3 damage to everyone adjacent.
And since I edited it out, you guys won't see it. For those who don't want to know why my video's gone, my son's walking around. he's being Captain Underpants right now.
Yep, in his drawers.
It's hot today. I'll give him that credit.
It's hot here. I had to wear the signature sleeveless hoodie, that everyone knows me by doing dishes. So
yeah,
keep you out on the road.
So let's close up the show. Kenny, before you go, is there anything you want to talk about, add on, discuss? What I was going to ask you, Kenny? How so far are the WKOs going for the summer? Because I know historically WKO's attendance kind of dips in the summer, it seems. But this time around, looks like there's been pretty good attendance this time around. So I wonder
are doing better than expected. For the way we still have this upcoming, I want to say 2 more weekends to go for all the stores to finish up, not only in US, also internationally as well. So they're doing well. Preferably, even as a player, I preferred them when they were in May. But things happen. The important thing is the opportunity there to play. We want to make sure that these events do happen so players have the opportunity to qualify, win some prizing, things like that, regardless when they are held. So thanks for asking. I did very well, if I remember correctly,
Yeah.
in Fresno.
Yep, we did pretty good. We had 20 players in the main event, and then we had about 6 guys show up just for battle royales. So
Sounds very healthy to me, so that's
Yeah.
good.
yeah, it was really good. We had also our Rock Regional, which if you guys want to go see gameplay footage of that, you can check out our YouTube page if you're not already on there. 2 clicks from KO, the YouTube. And I have 4 rounds of Swiss and the top 8, top 4, and finals of 2 different events all up there. And I even separated them into playlists for you. So,
Oh man, fancy.
yeah, fancy. So you can watch them all in one shot if you want, or space them out. But either way, if you like it, give a like and subscribe to the channel.
All right, my last question for Kenny Peña. You're going up to Canada. I know you're traveling tomorrow. What do you expect to see in Canada for a turnout? And do the United States of America take that title and bring it back down across the border again?
Well, yeah, I will be traveling to Montreal. I expect to have a good time because I love it. I missed out last year, partly because I started working with WizKids and taking time off and things like that, and not being able to compete. I didn't want to do that right away, and it sucked. Let me tell you. Even if I couldn't play, I missed being able to hang out with some of the friends I made who traveled down here. Not only that, I miss traveling with my friends before I had to go drive, fly, whatever, to different areas. So just being able to do that, have a good time, and just spend quality time with people who all share the same love for a hobby is a positive experience. And to answer the last part of your question, of course, America's going to win. I mean, the tradition. We can't like Canadians. It's a tradition started from Nicholas Peterson back in 2014. I carried the torch after that, Kenji after that, Adam Cole after that, and man, who won that?
PJ last year.
He had that nail biter of a final. PJ.
He
PJ
almost blew it.
From what I heard, I wasn't there. From what I heard, it was back and forth, and it was literally down to like one character versus one character.
Yeah.
That being said, PJ's the reigning champion. I don't think he's going because he's a daddy now. So that's important.
Yep.
That's important. That's important stuff. So hopefully he, the wife, the baby, everyone's doing well, having good times. He will be missed, but don't worry, there will be a new American to carry that torch. But
suck it, Canada.
All the friendly Canadians that'll be hosting us, and part of the reason why I'm going there, you're more than welcome to try to break the trend, and I won't hold it against you if you do. I'm just not rooting for it. That's all.
Jeez. Yeah. So call your shot. Who's winning? Out of the people that are going.
So we got Ed and Isaac going. I know Nate White's going. We have Emily, who lives up there. I think Jason and Amber. I think they're playing. Yeah, either one's playing and one's helping, or they're both playing.
I know Jason's playing.
Devin is a very strong player. We missed him in U.S. Nationals, and I thought he was going to do pretty well had he come. He didn't. Tom Kerr's another name. So this might be. He's not making it.
Tom Kerr's not making it. He has a prior engagement.
No.
Tom Kerr. I didn't want to. So. No, I'm kidding. That's unfortunate, Tom. However, I like Abdul. He didn't make it out to U.S. Nationals. Sure, he's a friend of mine, and I'm close with him. But I have been seeing what he's been playing, his state of mind, what he's been doing. He's been on a roll lately. He's been doing really well. He's been playing against a lot of the teams that should be expected and expecting them fairly easily. So I think he's in the right state of mind. He has the right mindset. Hopefully his dice stay as hot as they have been staying, because that's a big deal. You could do everything right, but nothing for crit misses and threes. Yeah, well, good luck. So that would be my pick. If a gun was pointed to my head and I had to choose someone right now.
That is exactly who I picked.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep. When I was on, I was recently helping out with the Metal Lab with Jason and Tom, and I said that it would probably be someone from Pashin, most likely be Abdul, seeing as how he missed out on U.S. Nationals this year, and I know he's chomping at the bit to try and get back into competitive play. So actually, you and I are on the same page again, once, sir, as I think Abdul is going to go in there really pushing hard.
Machine's always a safe pick because for the past 3 years, we've had a Pusheen member in finals. And in 2016, it was a Pusheen versus Pusheen final. So, you can never 4 years. I'm sorry, correct me. Stand corrected. So that's always a safe pick. But the field's going to be good. I know there's a lot of American players traveling. The Canadian players are also very strong on their own. Tom did win the Canadian Cup, and we did have Americans traveling. So all jokes aside, it's very possible that someone can win it and break the trend. But it's going to be a good show. It's going to be a good competition. It's one of those. Yeah. I can't wait to see.
All I gotta say is you don't want to be the American that drops the ball in the finals.
You don't. You live in infamy when you drop a Canadian.
If I had to pick, I would say a finals of Ed and Devin. That's what I'm going with.
Devin's a good pick. Devin's a good choice.
And I think Ed's gonna pull it off. But just put one more feather in his cap. Why not?
Yep.
He's picking the elder of the ABs.
The elder AB. The fact that he commented on the show tells me his mind. He's in a HeroClix state of mind right now. And Ed's a great player. I've played him at least 3 or 4 times and in my HeroClix career, and he's thumped me. And we've had games go to roll-offs, and we've had I'm telling you, he's won many old school major events. He won the Rock World Cup or Rocktober, whatever it's called.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah,
multiple Wizard Worlds.
Yeah, I mean,
he's an OG. He's him like Scott Crampton. They're OGs winning Wizard World titles.
And with the the demon child Isaac brainstorming for you and keeping you honest, man. Like, and they play at the same store with a lot of machine guys, so it's just sharks swimming with sharks, man. And
on a competitive day, it's pretty nasty. We might have 16 people, and 9 or 10 of those are like national or world level champions. It's a pretty insane field sometimes.
Jesus Christ.
It's a very healthy play. The first time I went there, I didn't win a single damn game the entire day. I was about ready to quit HeroClix.
That sounds average.
I drove there and just let Abdul just completely obliterate me. And then we had a pre-release, and my dice went completely cold again. When I ran into Buzzsaws after Buzzsaw, I played Kenji, Brian Galley, who is a WizKids judge when he volunteers for like the bigger events, and then Rob Reale, who has now won multiple events. But he's a Connecticut State champion. Thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate that. That was another day that I don't want to talk about because it was a very sad day for me.
That was
Connecticut. It was a very long day. So yeah.
Sorry, my dad just texted me. This is so bizarre. He goes, "Where can I get a baseball card graded?" What? He bought a Mickey Mantle card. I was like, what? Yeah, it's crazy. It's funny. Anyway, what a crazy guy. Yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up. Thanks, Kenny, for coming on, talking about Graceland, talking about just HeroClix in general. We miss you. We love you. We want to have you on every week if we could, but unfortunately we can't.
Aries, I don't have every week. No, that'll get boring.
Well,
no. Wouldn't.
No, it wouldn't. Aries, as always, it's a pleasure. I think we were a little longer in between episodes this time, so we'll try and get back to our regular format. But I gotta run. I gotta take the kid to go practice his Pokemon with his teammate. These two are making a push for Worlds. So my competitive gaming career is going to probably get put on the back burner for a year if this kid's going to Worlds. So, but that's all right because it's well worth it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But
And yeah, hopefully he get. Yeah, I would love to see him travel and do well.
yep, he wants to start his own YouTube page. So that'll be fun.
I love it.
All right, guys, we'll talk to you later. To everyone else, thanks for listening. And remember, the real fun begins when you're 2 clicks from KO.
Flex.